Good morning. It is Monday, August 11th. This is the Automotive State of the Union. I'm Paul J. Daly. I have Michael Cirillo with me today as we talk about auto loans loosening, Jaguar going Luxe, and shoppers, well, they're still spending that discretionary money, which is good news for all of us, I think. I don't think that's bad news for anyone.
Well, it's bad news for me because I'm one of the ones that keeps finding ways to spend my discretionary money.
And you are also married, which means you have a wife who also spends discretionary money, and you have kids, which means they also feel like they have discretionary money, even though they don't.
Bro, I could have bought my way onto the Amazon board of directors by now.
Maybe you have. Maybe you have. They should have like a little like top spenders priority rewards program like Marriott or airlines. It's not a bad idea, actually. I mean, I know like they have rewards, but like status.
Yeah.
Status feels like a thing that retailers haven't really gotten a hold of yet.
If that's the case, I would anticipate getting a personalized phone call from Bezos being like, you have been awarded a ride on my space tube, on my, a staycation on my yacht, and come and stay at my house anytime you want. It's now a timeshare available to you.
I like how you call it a space tube. I'm not going anywhere in Jeff Bezos' space tube. Just saying. Not at all. Hey, look, we have a lot going on this week, but we also have an upcoming ASOTU Edge webinar with our friends at Car RX. Basically, it's the 2025 halftime report. This is so much fun. I love halftime. I love football. Football's coming up. It gets me in the mood just even saying the word halftime. But it's pretty cool to look at the state of dealer reputation at halftime, halfway through the year, with all the data they have. Matt Murray of Widewail. I'm sorry, not Car RX. We're going Widewail. Matt Murray of Widewail, Wednesday, August 20th at 2 p.m. So next Wednesday, or is that 2 Wednesdays from now? No, it's next Wednesday. Next Wednesday, 2 p.m. You know how webinars work. Go to ASOTU.com, sign up for the webinar. You'll get the recording, or we prefer always you can be there with us live to get all of the consumer sentiment data halfway through the year, so you can kind of see what everybody else is doing and get a little insight into your own data and make some adjustments, changes, go out there and win the Super Bowl this year. You know what I'm saying?
You know, with how fast things are moving, dude, prediction. By the end of this year, early 2026, we're going to have a bi-weekly report because of how fast things are moving.
No doubt. Things are moving real fast. All right, let's talk about some of this stuff. New data showing that consumers may finally be catching a break in the auto loan market. Approvals are up. Interest in buying is growing, and middle-income shoppers are more willing to make sacrifices to keep their vehicles. New York Fed says auto loan rejection rates dropped sharply in Q2 to 6.7%, down from a painful 19% last year. 14% of those sought a loan in the past year, and more expect to apply in coming months. Santander's latest survey shows 55% of middle-income consumers plan to buy a vehicle in the next 12 months, the highest reading in over 2 years. Tariff fears, though, are real. 18% of respondents sped up a big purchase in Q2 because of price uncertainty. We saw a lot of that action, with 41% of those actually buying a vehicle. Santander also says this is the first time in 8 quarters, that buyers outnumber those delaying a purchase, a sign that pent-up demand could finally be turning into sales. Again, this sounds like good news to me too.
It's good news, and it's because you know, we went through like a weird sunsetting phase with like, I think the way cars looked, like design, form factor.
Mm-hmm.
And all of these new OEMs are coming out, like 24 and 2025 came out with new models that just got something going for them, you know?
Yeah.
And people are like, I'm glad I waited.
Yeah.
You know,
no, especially with the tech integration and things like that. I do see interesting. We've been talking about this pent-up demand all year long. And now the data is actually showing that the pent-up demand is turning into sales. So the pent-up demand is drying up, but that's actually converting, which is great news. 6.7% as far as rejection, down from 19% is significant. Great. And we have a third story, another story, you know, the third story for today actually ties into this a little bit. So about consumer discretionary income and buying habits. So these are all great indicators that we're looking for into a strong Q3 and Q4.
Don't you just love when the data lines up with what actually happened?
and then what you want to hapen?
Yeah, what
a fortuitous arrangement. Speaking of fortuitous arrangements,
stop. Segue.
Time. We got a new CEO at Jaguar, folks. He's got something to say. Jaguar set on an electric ultra luxury future still. They're not changing course. Despite some loud critics, the brand is preparing their bespoke EV platform and 3 6-figure models designed to take on the industry's elite. Incoming JLR CEO PB Balaji, that's a great name. PB Balaji says the brand's EV strategy is locked in with positive early feedback from customers on the ground. Basically said, customers on the ground like it. We're not changing the strategy. It is what it is. They did change their branding agency, though. Production of all current Jaguars except the F-Pace ended last year, and the company stockpiled inventory. The first new model, the GT, is that iconic, sleek, 600 horsepower electric sedan that looks like it's from a movie with about 425 miles of range and a $150,000 price tag. It's expected late next year, so we're still over a year away from seeing that in production. A large 3-row electric crossover will follow in late 2027 or early 28. The third entry is rumored to be a large ultra-luxury electric sedan aimed at Rolls-Royce and Bentley buyers due around 2030. So they are not wavering from their commitment to no longer be the car that a lot of people can afford. Now, I mean, it wasn't everyone couldn't afford a Jaguar. Then it was like, oh, well, a lot of people can afford a Jaguar. And now it's moving to very few people can afford a Jaguar. So it'll be interesting to see how this goes.
I mean, a couple of things here. First, 150K USD. I mean, then you go to Canada. Nobody do $180,000, $190,000 car in Canada.
Well, I mean, let me give some levity to that, because like if you go and spec out, like, I don't know, a fully loaded Escalade, it's 150K.
I know.
Isn't that crazy to think about?
See a ton of them in Canada.
but I'm saying, like, granted, that's a little more of a utilitarian vehicle, right? Like the Santa only seats 4 and that, but right. 150 is still not like Rolls-Royce level on this entry level one,
right?
But still, 150 is such a small portion of the market for people who would actually be able to drive this car and have it meet their needs.
Look, I mean, there's something here, which is that Tesla, I would say, with the Cybertruck, was the first one to hit the market with a very polarizing form factor in the Cybertruck.
Mm-hmm.
Jaguar, nobody can steal it. Whether you like the branding, the rebrand, the this and the that, they're the second automaker on the market that have a polarizing look to a vehicle form factor.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's a market for that. And I think, you know, PB Balaji,
yes,
which sounds like a Vegas hotel.
I mean, Bellagio.
I'm staying at the Bellagio.
I feel like he wears a cape.
He does. I feel like he wears a cape and probably goggles, but no, we're never getting him on the show. So
unless he does,
he's sitting somewhere right now watching this on his iPad.
Like they know me.
It's like they know. I feel so seen. But I mean, there's something to that, and it's just kind of, I'm thinking about it right now, where it's like, hey, but now nobody can ever take that away from Jaguar. They were now the second automaker in the world to come to the market with, like you said, something that looks like it's straight out of a movie. And I can only anticipate we're going to start seeing more and more of that in the coming months and years.
You know, it does put Jaguar dealers in an interesting position now, having to shift to an ultra luxury model, not just a luxury model, meaning their business model is going to change. So really the rethinking around what used inventory are we going to carry? How much of our business is that going to be as this ultra luxury? Or are we going to try to play just in a different space? But without a doubt, you need a different mindset heading into ultra luxury. We should get our friend Michael Wood on the show, probably the most dialed in Jag dealer we know, to get his thoughts on that, because there's a major difference from walking in like a Mercedes dealer and then walking in like a Rolls-Royce dealer.
Right.
Just what you have to be able to deliver, what the expectations are, even the velocity of sale is completely different. So it'll be interesting to see how some dealers start to pivot toward this now, especially when they have like really limited inventory to sell to begin with. So, you know, we'll see. That for me is the biggest complexity.
How do you segue into the next one?
Well, you know, that's the question that we're constantly thinking about. When
you guys are better at it than I am.
Well, there's no clear, you know, usually if I have one, Kyle volley one, but sometimes we both get stuck. So speaking of segues,
stop. Segue
time. That's how we get out of that one.
Oh man. Hey, listen to this. Many Americans say they're trying to rein in discretionary spending, A new survey shows the vast majority still made at least one unplanned purchase last month. Optimum Retailing surveys find 72% of Americans made an unplanned in-store discretionary purchase in the past month. They didn't knock on my door because that number were going up. 34% plan to cut back in the next 6 months. Sales events accounting for 55%. Eye-catching displays accounting for 45%. And an immediate availability, 26%, makes spending hard to resist. Only 5% said in-store shopping no longer feels, quote, worth it.
So that means 95% of people are still like, I'll go to the store.
Right. And it also tells me that planned trip to CVS to pick up your prescription ended in way more things while you were walking through the store, which, I mean, hey, from a retailing perspective is great. Many shoppers are sticking to a budget by cutting dining and takeout. That's 48%. Clothing and accessories, 44%. And electronics, gadgets, 37%. We have a quote here from Sam Weiss, the CEO of Optimum Retailing. He said, consumers today are cautious, but not unengaged. The moment and experience must both feel correct.
I think this brings us back around to the principles we talk about when it comes to making it easy and enjoyable even for people to buy a car. Talking about the easy and enjoyable experience, not just with clever 3 words, but you have to do this work. And I would say you have to do this work in the service drive that actually puts people in the mindset that this is a great place to be around. People still willing to be in person. We know from all the data that people want to come into the store, test drive a vehicle. They're willing to do it. It's the fun parts that they like, and it reminds me of what Jesse Cole said. He's like, what if the car buying experience was so long, instead of trying to make it shorter? Like, what if instead of trying to get it to under an hour, like you're like, no, it's going to take 2.5 hours and it's going to be super fun.
It's so interesting about what you just said. My wife just booked service appointments for our vehicles at one store on the north side of town. And I'm like, wait a minute, why aren't you booking them at this store? They've got soda machine where you can pick the soda you want, the flavors. They got the gravity weightless massage chairs. And she's like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? And there's a little experience piece where she's like, why wouldn't I want to go and do those things while I'm waiting for my vehicle to get serviced?
Yeah.
And therefore, what does it do? It keeps that dealership top of mind for us.
Yeah, it does. Well, there you go. I mean, that's a clear and present direct example of one dealership losing to another dealership because they made the experience better. I don't know. Feels like some good news. It feels like a good news story Monday. And we'll see how it all pans out. Listen, we'll be here all week bringing the stuff. Make sure you go to ASOTU.com, sign up for that webinar next week so you can get the halftime report, get all the data. We'll see you here tomorrow morning.